This Jocks 94.5 podcast is brought to you by Millennium Satellite and Video. Log on to msbnow.com. TV excellence everywhere. That's Millennium. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning starts now.
All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Going to get to Coach Trent Dilfer on the Higginbotham hotline here in just a moment. We told you about a couple of starting quarterbacks that have been announced. So we'll have some more information, both injury and on starters, as it pertains to SEC teams in the 8 o'clock hour. Before we get to Coach Dilfer, I'm going to tell you about Game Day Men's Health. If you are lacking sleep, lacking energy, feeling on edge, Game Day Men's Health wants to help you feel better. There's a couple of different ways that they can do it, but it's easy to get started. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com right now. Sign up for the free consultation, free PSA test, free testosterone test. They get your baseline health. Then they say, here are the different plans in which we can help you. Testosterone replacement, weight loss, other ways like the peptides that they now have in stock that they can just help you be a better you each and every day. Save 10% on any service they offer by mentioning Mac and Cube in the morning. Locker room environment, great people, no stress, holistic approach to health and wellness, minimal upfront cost from the programs that they offer. Go be a better you. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com today and tell them you heard about them right here on Mac and Cube in the morning. Trent Dilfer, UAB head football coach, joining us now on the Higginbotham hotline. Coach, now's about the time that you start to turn the page. You get out of camp mode into game preparation mode. What is the thing that you need to see your team shift towards as well, whether it be behavioral, mentality, physicality, whatever that is, now that you've kind of gone from one phase of getting this season ready to the next phase?
Well, first of all, I feel like you guys always do the reader for me.
Yes,
whatever reader
because we know people are tuned in, so we want to give the extra benefit to our advertisers because we know we have Trent Dilfer on. People are going to tune in. So it's just a little added benefit for those folks that are keeping us on the air.
Yeah, but I hear like overweight, lacking testosterone, getting old, and I'm like, yeah, he's speaking to me.
Yes.
We can get you in, Coach.
Yeah, I know. I think to answer your question, I'm just absolutely consumed right now. It's all I can think about. I can't sleep at night of just somehow our bad has to get better. It's just we've been plagued for 2 years with just beating ourselves, and our bad is just so egregiously bad. And honestly, I've been around this a couple times in my football life. One time in the NFL, when we're trying to turn the Bucs around early on. This is like early 90s. And then my high school team, that was just so bad you can't even talk about it when I first got there. And before you can win at a consistent level, you got to learn how not to beat yourself. And we just continue to do things every single day that we have to fix when it comes to raising our floor. I always talk about a ceiling and a floor. Like, high ceilings are awesome. And that's what Sports Center shows, and that's what we talk about. It's awesome. You got to make plays. You got to have playmakers. You got to do explosive things on both sides of the ball. But what we don't talk enough about is that your bad has to be decent. Your bad can't get you beat. There's going to be bad. Like, there's going to be blown assignments. There's going to be drop balls. There's going to be missed tackles. This is college football. This is group of 5 college football. So you got to understand that you have limitations. But those limitations, those mistakes can't be catastrophic. And just through camp, man, there's so many good things. I could come on and be Mr. Optimistic and Mr. Positivity, and there are a lot of really good things I'd love to celebrate. But, like, those things aren't going to matter if we don't raise our floor and learn how to stop the bleeding at times. So, I can talk about positive things, but that is the thing that's keeping me up at night, is we have not fixed that yet.
And that's something that I feel like you will probably be a work in progress all throughout the season, is it not? I mean, at what point do you expect to be a finished product? Because I don't know if you ever are, but
yeah,
that's kind of the big question. I mean, I don't really know if I have the answer to it.
Listen, I can only go on my football life, right?
Right.
And the good things that I've been a part of, you're getting better late in the season. Like, you get better before your last game of the year. If that's the Super Bowl, if that's the college football playoff championship, if that's the bowl game, if that's the state championship, whatever it is, you're getting better. But there's got to be trends that you consistently are getting. And it can only be a couple percent each week. It could be one thing you're getting better at, but you can't see these giant spikes. It can't be the stock market in a volatile time, where there's peaks one days and valleys the next days. It has to be kind of a steady climb upward. And at times I felt that in camp. And then you have these dips. And these dips equal losses. You know what I mean? Like if you're just playing out a 3-week training camp and trying to use it as a microcosm of your season, if you're having these wild dips, then those equal L's, because you're not going to beat a team like Navy or Army that's not going to beat themselves, or Memphis is super talented, or South Florida, or obviously, University of Tennessee and Knoxville. Like, you're not going to beat these teams if your lows are really low. Now, if you just have tiny little plateau levels or tiny little dips, and then you immediately jump up from those dips, now you got a fighting chance. You can get the game in the fourth quarter and make a play here or there, and you win the game. But that's the thing, that if you're watching us, like, if we play sound, fundamental, clean football, we will naturally be explosive, because we've recruited at a very high level playmakers, and we have them on both sides of the ball and on special teams, and they will naturally make plays in the course of a long football game. The problem is we just can't, crush ourselves with these giant mistakes.
Who are some of those playmakers that UAB fans should be excited about right now? Should be anticipating watching play against Alabama State Thursday night, August 28th?
He's been a little banged up the last 7-8 days with some soft tissue stuff, but he's back. Sarod Bryant's had an exceptional camp at safety. He came back out. He entered the portal. He came back. We really invested in him. He started for us last year. He's one of the few returning starters on our football team. Didn't have a great spring, didn't have a great summer, and then really had a great camp and made a lot of plays. I think on the back end, we have a lot of guys that have been making plays in the secondary. Eli Ennis, Devin Hightower, the two inside linebackers, have made a lot of plays, both in the run game, the pass game. Jermichael Rogers, who got from Miles College, has made a lot of plays. And Maury Morrison, who we got out of the portal at defensive end. Denver Warren. Like, there's some playmakers on defense. They've definitely made a lot of plays. Now, saying all that, we've also had a lot of explosives against our defense. And as a head coach, you don't know, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing because the offense is making them? Or is it a bad thing because the defense is giving them up? So that's one of those things in training camp. You're just like, gosh, I don't know if this is good or bad. Offensively, it's kind of the same group. Corey Milner's continuing to make big plays. Quarterbacks continue to make big plays. Our running backs have made a lot. Iverson Hooks has been really explosive in camp when healthy. So, we've had guys consistently show up and make plays, but all those people I just mentioned also have to raise their floors significantly so they become more consistent players as well.
Coach, when you look at week one, I know you're a handful of days away. I know it'd be easy in some cases for your guys to maybe look beyond week one, given what's coming up on the schedule after that. How do you make sure they hone in on the opportunity that is directly in front of them, as opposed to looking down the line a little bit, knowing that week one is not going to be the toughest matchup they have this season?
Well, I will say this, and every coach is going to give this answer, Greg. You know this, but I absolutely mean this statement. We are tingly about the Alabama State game because, remember, I watched every single Alabama State defensive snap in December, every one, because I was looking at Ryan Lewis, who we ended up hiring as our corners coach. So I went and watched every single snap of that defense, and they are gnarly. Like, they were dominant in FCS football, and they play group of five football defense. Like, they are stout, they're fast, they run to the ball, they're incredibly well coached. So offensively, as we look at Alabama State, we're like, okay, this is a challenge. Like, these guys could be in our conference defensively. I know from our defensive standpoint, I was in the scouting report meeting, and They have talented offensive players. And our defense is a work in progress. That's 10 new starters, 18 new contributors, all new coaches. So, they're still feeling it out who they are defensively. So, you look at an opponent, I don't care who it is. We could be playing Lipscomb Academy or Thompson High School in the first week, and I think you would have some pause because you don't really know who you are yet defensively. So we are definitely not overlooking that. And then you take into account we've only won a handful of games over 2 years. So everybody knows who we are. And we have a lot to prove and a lot to earn. So out of all the things I'm worried about, us being ready for week one is not one of them.
Coach, I want to get your thoughts on week one. We hear different attitudes, demeanors, mindsets towards this. Everybody says, oh, it's your first opponent. You had the whole offseason to work on this team. I don't think it always works that way. How much of an advantage can it really be, though? How much more time do you spend on this opponent, as you will, your other weekly opponents throughout the course of the season? I don't think a lot of our listeners have heard a coach kind of lay out the differences in first opponent of the season with that entire offseason and then the difference between opponents that they're going to face on a weekly basis.
Coach, I do this in a Reader's Digest version. So much of what football game planning is really a look into the DNA of your opponent. So you're trying to look at how they're wired. How do they think? What do they want to be? What are their weaknesses? What are their strengths? If you could jump into their meetings, what are they being told? So that's kind of the DNA report that you're looking for. So you get more evidence on a team after 3, 4, 5 weeks of the regular season. You can better assume those things. You can better predict those things. The challenge with week 1 and 2 especially is that report that you're building is from last year. And now let's go back 5, 6, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, 15 years. You could put together a decent one because you could go then study the year before and see who left and who's coming up. Okay, that kid was a backup last year, got 12 snaps a game. He's going to be a starter. Or that starter's back. He was a junior. Now he's a senior. Hey, the coaching staff's intact. We know what this coordinator thinks. He's been doing this for 15 years. He's going to run basically the same stuff. They'll have a surprise for us, but it won't be that big of a deal. Well, now blow all that model up because every team is a new team. You don't know who the players are. You don't know who won starting jobs. You can't go and watch every single player at their old team and get a real good feel for them. A lot of coaching turnover, so you don't know what schemes they're going to use. So you go into weeks 1 and 2 kind of blind of what you're going to get. Alabama State has been a 4-down team consistently. Are they going to run an odd front? My guess is yes. You know what I mean? So you have to prepare for an odd front and an even front. They've been a quarters-based team. Are they going to play more one high? So now you got to get your quarterbacks to maybe look at the film a little differently. Offensively, they played 5 quarterbacks last year. Who's going to be the quarterback? And with their quarterback, what style offense are they going to run? They've showed some quarterback run. They've showed some spread. They've showed some big people. They've showed some 11. What are they doing right now? You don't know because you have no visual evidence of it. You have no tape to study from this year. So it is a real challenge, but they don't know who we're going to be either. I mean, if you're prepping for us, you're going back to Air Force 2017 to see what Steve Russ was doing. So they don't know what Brett Wiesemeyer believes in defensive football. They don't know our coverage schemes, our front profiles. They don't know those things. Offensively, are we going to be the same last year as we were this year? Same this year as we were last year. They don't know that. So it's a challenge for both sides, for both teams. But it definitely gives you some angst as you get ready for the first couple games.
Great stuff, Coach. Really appreciate you filling us in on that. That's kind of how your mindset works, operates. Because you can flood yourself, too, on that first opponent, I would imagine, correct? You can spend too much time on them because you do have the extra time to spend, which can maybe make you think too much or put too much into a gameplay. It can work against you, I imagine, in a certain way. Yeah,
so that was our staff meeting yesterday, was you can't use this week because this is a hybrid week. We're not in camp, but we're not in regular season mode either. So what I had to remind the staff of is it's our natural inclination to want to move forward and get ahead of Alabama State, but then there'll be an Alabama State fatigue to that. And let's not forget, we're not very good yet. And that was really what I had to tell the staff was, guys, this is a great week to get better at blocking and tackling and throwing and catching and lining up and communicating and effort and attitude, like the core fundamentals of winning football. Let's not lose sight that we're still not great at those things. So let's be great at those things. We have plenty of time to put together a plan for Alabama State. So there's a definite fine line there. It happens all the time in the NFL in the bye week. Like, oh, let's get ahead on the next opponent. And then you end up losing after the bye week because you're fatigued on that opponent prep. When the teams that, you look at these teams, I think Andy Reid's one of them that like wins almost every time after a bye week. They don't do any prep for the next opponent, like none. It is all fundamental work. It's getting back. It's us versus us. So I think you have to take an us versus us approach until you get to that week. And then you're like, okay, us is better now because we want us versus us. Now let's go us versus them.
Coach, thank you for the stuff today. Thank you for the information today. We look forward to visiting with you each week here for the rest of the season, and we will do our best to limit the ad reads before we have you on again.
No, I love them. They speak to me. See you guys.
Thank you, Trent Dilfer, UAB head football coach, joining us on the Higginbotham hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services. When we come back, I don't care about the claimed portion of this. But there is a part of this 2004 conversation that I feel like I personally have missed on for a long time. 800-239-9569. You can text in 205-834-9450. Tweet in at Mac and Cube. Claiming titles, right, wrong, indifferent. But that actual 2004 season, we're going to revisit it for just a moment when we come back next right here on Jocks.
Go inside Jocks 94.5 on Jocks TV. Morning Jocks, Mac and Cube, three-man front video simulcasts are presented by Bill Smith Buick GMC and Game Day Men's Health. Watch on the Jocks mobile app and YouTube by searching Jocks 94.5 TV.